Shoppers crave personalized experiences from the brands they love, and a great mobile app from favorite brand does exactly that. And that is where you need IMSHOP. Fast launch with any e-commerce platform, utilize advanced loyalty programs, retain customers with community, improve conversion with content, assist your customers anytime. Best thing about IMSHOP, you can launch a fully functional mobile app with all the benefits in just 6 to 8 weeks due to ready integrations. Join many retail leaders who already use IMSHOP. IMSHOP.AI, apps for e-commerce and retail. Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to the podcast. My name is Filip Lopkowski. I'm the host of the show, and today we're going to be talking about retail and about marketplaces and about all of those questions that you want to figure out as a DTC brand or as a brand in general these days. Because I have a very exciting guest for you, Mikael Brakker, who is, and I will now read it from LinkedIn because it's quite a long title he has, European e-commerce channel and Amazon director, Lux divisions for L'Oreal. Hi, Mikael.
Yeah, hi Philip. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very much for finding time for us today.
My pleasure.
Can you please tell me a little bit about yourself and your short bio so everybody will understand why are we talking about retail and marketplaces today with you?
Sure. Well, you did a pretty good job with my official role. So,
I
uh,
read it from LinkedIn. That's I don't know if that's considered cheating, but
I was good. I was good on my LinkedIn. So, anyways, I'm in the business and ecom business for maybe 20 years or so. I've started with smaller companies. Eventually, I landed a job at L'Oreal in consumer products division. Was there an e-commerce director for 6.5 years. Then I left the company. I was a global commercial director for a marketplace named Joom. And almost 3 years ago, I came back to L'Oreal now in Lux division, and I'm responsible for e-commerce business across Europe. We call it European Zone, so it's geographical Europe plus Turkey, which is partly Europe, and Israel. And why we're talking about marketplaces, I think it's pretty obvious. It's the driving force of the market today. Sometime yesterday, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the driving force tomorrow.
yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so let's I hate this term, but it really sticks with you. Like double click into this, right? Do everybody use this term on during meetings at your work? Tell us in the comments.
No, never,
No?
never, never
Seriously?
have I ever used this term.
Not in L'Oreal. Okay, that's a good point for yeah, I hear it a lot. Like let's double click into this.
All
Okay,
right.
but yeah, I really wanted to start with a broader question of what are the biggest structural shifts that are happening today exactly in European e-commerce that you see.
So, first of all, I think marketplace trend, even though it's there for 10 years at least on the map, but I think it's still valid. Not all the categories are onboarded. Still, marketplaces are consolidating the markets. Would it be Amazon? Would it be Allegro and Bol.com? But basically, every market has a leading marketplace with 30 to 50% of online market share. So that is an obvious trend, still a trend. Then we have some disruptors, and I think now is the 26 is the year of disruptors. You have TikTok Shop with social commerce, right, rolling out across Europe. You have AI, which is still a huge percentage of growth, not a very big weight of business, but pretty sure it's going to stick. Cross border is a big thing across Europe, and still it's developing. I think it's growing faster than the local sales across many markets. And last but not the least is the Chinese platforms, right? The cross border from outside of Europe, who are growing faster than the market, who are trying to onboard the local brands. Shein, Temu, all of them are trying to onboard the local European brands. So it kind of puts another level of pressure on the market. So I would highlight those.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That when you say in regarding like European market cross border, definitely usually that means like France to Germany. So if there are folks from US who are listening to us, reviewing us right now on YouTube, that usually that doesn't mean Chinese cross border. That means
No,
like
you're right
inside
because
Europe.
exactly. But inside Europe, it's pretty big, and then depending on the way your company is based, is it affects your financials. But then also from consumer perspective, one thing you're buying locally from a local brand, that speaks your language, that gives you the local level of service, and another thing is you're buying from a different country. You may not even know that you're buying from a different country, but anyways, the level of service could be different, the pricing would be different. So it's still a big trend. And yes, the other cross border is the true cross border, is that coming from Asia, from the US, from Middle East. So still a trend.
Okay, so let's unwrap those one by one and maybe dig deeper into some of those trends. So, first of all, of course, marketplaces. You said that this is the largest growing trend, and it will be here tomorrow. I 100% agree with this, but you're representing a brand, or like should I say like a manufacturer or like a conglomerate of different brands. And what is your take to this duality of like we have a DTC, and it's important for us as a brand to have a direct communication with our consumers, versus we're selling on marketplaces, we're growing, we're making money there. What is the approach today?
I think the key here is to understand what is the role of each channel, right? You have your D2C, which is your delivering your brand equity, your face, the services, all of that. But then marketplaces, of course, they do deliver some of that. But the key role of the channel as of today, as I see it, is the acquisition channel. It is the acquisition channel. It is the channel to reach the new consumers across multiple generation, multiple social demographies, and etc. So it's all about the role. So looking at premium beauty, you would have self-assisted O plus O players like Douglas and Sephora. You have the department stores like El Corte Inglés or Galeria Lafayette. You have obviously your D2Cs, you have the online pure players such as Notino or Zalando, and you have marketplaces such as Amazon, Bol.com, and etc. And each of them have a different role to play, different consumer you're talking to, and different brand selection, your competitive environment, which basically represents the consumer needs. So it's not either or. I think every channel has its role. TikTok shop, right? Social commerce, very specific role, especially in my category, where you could reach new consumers, but it's also bringing pressure in terms of complexity of the business. So yeah, it's not either or. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of your strategy, and it's a matter of strategizing your distribution. Your distribution.
Yeah, but there is this kind of problem that all of the brands faced for a long time with marketplaces, that marketplaces are not sharing first party data or like personal data of the consumer who's buying. So when you say that this isn't like an acquisition channel, how do you then use it? Because yeah, they acquired your product and they became familiar with your product through marketplace, but how do you then transfer them to your DTC?
Why would I want to transfer them to my D2C? That's the biggest question for me.
Hmm.
I think we should think of consumer. Consumer is the center of everything. Consumer must be the center of everything that we do. And I'm not an adept of strategies that tend to try to switch consumer behavior in a way that I want it in my frame. I think it is for us, for the brands, to be flexible enough to follow the consumer, to ship where to fish where the fish is. And yes, marketplaces do not share 1P data, and basically none other channels except your D2C do that. However, those channels bring scale. But most importantly, this is where the consumer is shopping today. My habit is to go sometimes on Amazon, sometimes on quick commerce when I need something super fast. Sometimes I go offline. And if a brand wants to talk to me, they should be present where my habits are. It's not trying to lure me in into their D2C. Now then another challenge is then, okay, how do I retain, right, this consumer? Because the platform, it's a lot of competition, but this is where we need to be smart. Of course, it's retail media. Of course, it's the data clean rooms such as AMC, with Amazon, which deliver really precise precision targeting. Another example is the Alibaba owned platforms like Trendyol. They give you an opportunity to connect directly to your shoppers, like sending a newsletter, which basically you control, or push notifications which you control towards your shoppers. So it's all about the activation strategy, but also making sure that your product and your communication is still tailored towards your consumer. It's still interesting. And like one of our brand directors loves to say, and I really like the approach, is that he says that my best advertising is having my product on the shelf. My product sells itself. And the most important is that to introduce the product to the consumer. And this is what builds loyalty because my product is good.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a very powerful thought, I think, for a lot of brands. And yeah, this approach of omnipresence, so to speak, is 100% agree with this. And Okay, but speaking about the DTC business, e-commerce business, um, how do you work with retention there? What do you use to retain your consumers in the DTC channel if they already bought there?
No, but it's all the classical strategies, right? You have some differentiation strategies, so you provide specific assortment, you provide specific services, you provide specific experience to retain your consumer. Then I think one of the biggest is, of course, the loyalty program, right?
Mm.
Because
Hmm.
when your product is distributed widely, then what is the reason to buy it on a D2C? And usually people who buy still stick to the D2C are the true fans of your brand. And this is where you need to communicate directly. You need to communicate in a way that that in a way that consumer will stick to you, and to provide the expertise, the brand equity, and the love brand experience, which you cannot deliver in any other channel.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned retail media. Um, what does it mean in your strategy? It's probably growing. I know that it's growing for many brands these days, but does it become like a dominant channel in your media mix, or where do you place it?
No, it's not a dominant channel in the media mix. Still, we need to think about the top funnel market, which retail media does not usually deliver. For me, it's an evolution of any kind of retail activations. If we rewind the internet 20 years ago, you bought a banner, you bought a place, maybe you got some, click data, zero targeting, and etc. And then now looking at programmatic buying, where you bid on the shopper profile, on the shopper's interest, and etc. It's not about the place or the amount of days you're present. It's more of who is your targeting, how many impressions, and etc., very data driven. Now let's look at retail again. 10 years ago, what did we purchase? Is a main page banner for 2 days. That was the currency, or a newsletter. data transparency, zero targeting. It's even now it seems so weird. Why would I pay for days? Days is not, is it a lot? Is it not a lot? Gives you zero. So now retail media is kind of an evolution that is following the internet evolution. So now the most sophisticated retail media platforms would allow you to target your shoppers in the interest, social demographics, past purchases, and etc. Give you somewhat transparency in the data, meaning is this consumer new for you, at least on the platform? How many impressions are you buying? How many clicks? How does that affect your sales and all of that? So it's a more sophisticated way of talking to retail consumers. It is more data driven. It is usually more transparent, and it is usually more effective. Why do I say usually? Is that I believe there is still a very big gap versus of what retail media can deliver in theory and what retailers provide in practice. I think
Mm.
that the retailers still in the old world of trying to get the most margin of just selling retail media, and I even did some calculations in one of my LinkedIn posts maybe 2 years ago that being transparent and sharing the data for free in exchange for investment will bring the retailer a lot more money in margin, but also a lot of sales and a lot of consumer attraction versus just selling the data. And I think the faster the retail will realize it, the better. And look at Amazon, right? The world's biggest retail media network. What do you pay for? Data is there for free. AMC is there for free. You just need to know how to use it. And they make money on luring you in with this transparency. And then you just spend the money on the product. And that's pretty much pure margin. I don't know, 90%, 85% of this is margin for Amazon. But also, they get the top line sales, they get the um, branded communication. Their consumers get what they want because of the targeting, right? The efficiency of retail media is basically the reflection of product market fit towards the consumer. So Amazon understood this far before any other retailer. And now, if we look at the figures, I mean, they are what, 70% of a retail media market globally. So it's for me, it's a clear win. But then looking a bit forward, I wonder this trend of retail media, will it stick? Because retail media is talking to the consumers, right? And now we are having this AI agentic shopping, right? So basically, when I want to buy something, sometimes I really go into ChatGPT when I have no idea what it like. I want to buy something, I have no idea what exactly, so I ask, and it recommends me something, and then I just click and I just buy. So I kind of bypass all the retail media capabilities, and I land directly in the product page where I do my stuff and I buy or whatever. So the question is, should retail media now evolve and address the agents? Should it be some kind of a parallel? Would it be completely focused in the chat GPT, the LLMs of this world? I don't know, but I think it's a crossroads time for retail media. And before even it got the scale it is really capable of, it's already facing vital challenges and some survival challenges.
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic, and I'm very excited about like what future holds for us as retailers, because it seems like the whole idea of having a catalog is a little bit outdated when you have AI, when you have like the LLMs and you have the agents, especially because they will find your particular PDPs, they will find your particular products that fulfill your whatever you want. What is L'Oreal's take on this in terms of just strategy? I know that this is just the beginning of this trend, but how do you prepare for this future to become reality?
Well, obviously, we're working on being uh, GEO, so generative engine optimized in a way that to make sure that when you search for a skincare product or a fragrance product, it's our product that appears. That is the key for us now. And then kind of the second layer is where will the LLMs guide the user to shop at. That's kind of for us the primary goal here is that it's to an official channel, because regardless if it's a D2C, an Amazon or a Douglas, it's still our product. So that's kind of the key now is the share of visibility in the LLMs. That is absolutely the key. But me personally, I'm wondering if this consumer journey can break e-commerce totally, because right now you need the PDP, the price, the delivery, the assortment all to be in one place. But then, actually, what LLMs can create is to disconnect some of those. Imagine a world where e commerce doesn't need content, because we built e-commerce. Content is king, right? It's the key. 5-star product pages and etc and etc. But why do you need content if the content is available across the net? Content is available on D2Cs, content is available on Reddit, everywhere, right? So LLM could cherry pick the most important parts of the content. Ratings and reviews, you don't need those anymore because the internet is full of reviews. LLM could watch all the TikToks, can go
Mm.
on YouTube, can go on Trustpilot or whatever, get those reviews. So now you don't need reviews. What you need is availability, price, and delivery, and that kind of reduces an e-commerce business into a very technical kind of distributor who is just providing the product and the capabilities to deliver. But then also, do you really need the capability to deliver? Maybe it's a third party who's delivering, and then you're reduced to a warehouse with the product, with a contract with the brand. So I think it is also an existential question to ecom and the retail and the brands should bet on why one way or another, and the most importantly the speed of the change, because I'm very much convinced this is coming. It's a question of the speed, and I think what we're facing now is another challenge for any professional is, do we really understand the speed of change? Because if we think about ChatGPT 5 years ago, what could it do? If it could fake a conversation, we would be super happy and like sharing around with our friends. Look at ChatGPT, it's understanding me. Now it can write books.
Mm.
And 5 year past,
It could create movies even.
it could create movies. I just watched a YouTube video where uh, Gemini proved some kind of a mathematical problem that humanity couldn't solve for 100 years, something like that. So it is impressive, right? And the growth is exponential. And the next leap of growth is coming faster. Before, the LLMs would double their performance in 7 months. Now it's 3 months, and it's exponential. So, what can it do in 5 years? Can it create a product according to your needs
Hmm.
and send it to you? We don't know. Uh, Maybe that is a bit too far, but then how will the consumer journey change? Do I have time? Will it change within a year, within a decade, or tomorrow? And this is a another existential question that we need to understand and we need to bet on, because I need to think of what are the future capabilities that my team should provide. Is it still the, the traffic conversion, average value, retention, all of that, or is it something completely different? Do I really have a team of people? Is my team one person who is managing 100 agents? So this, and I need to prepare. I need to prepare the company. I need to prepare myself, because managing. I remember when I just became some mid manager, and I remember like managing like the most junior people versus managing professionals is a different kind of job. You can manage, 5 people and 5 people, but managing 5 people who just started their career is very, very different versus managing a professional or 5 professionals, right? And I had to go through an evolution myself as a manager to do this job efficiently. Now, again, fast forward, should I prepare myself to manage what exactly? That's a personal question I need to answer. I wonder, Philip, do you ask yourself the same questions?
Oh man, there's so much to unwrap here. Thank you for tapping into this. Um, we'll get to a management dilemma in a second, but I really wanted to touch on something that you said in the beginning. So you said like, will we even need any kind of e-commerce front end if you can just ask the language model and it will give you the answer if it give you the solution? And immediately what popped up in my mind is that, yeah, but then the reason for retail existing is exactly the fact that people use it as an emotional booster. Of course, there is a segment of people, there are a lot of people, or there are chores in your daily life where you don't need this excitement. Like, how much excited should you be of buying, I don't know, a replacement for some kind of pan or something in your kitchen? Not super exciting. It's just the faster you get it, the better. But when you're shopping for something more serious, when you want a new TV or when you want, of course, you can ask ChatGPT and it will give you like, yeah, this will the size, the I don't know, the brightness for your room. This is the best. Um, uh, but there will still always be geeks in every area, like buying, I don't know, vinyl records or something like this. There is a sensation to it. Like, is there a new record? Is there a new this? I mean, there is still this shopping experience, retail experience that people value. Um, but then you started talking about like how agents will come along, and I thought, huh. But then today we're working with those front end and catalogs. We're trying to create those to create this experience. What if AI agent can create a catalog that will be super specific to a specific person, and then in the back it will have some sort of sheen that can just manufacture you the product. So it will show you the product that you will likely buy or likely be excited about, and then this particular product can be manufactured tailored to your to your needs in some kind of back end sheen.
No, that is exactly the point. That is exactly the point, because we tend to, first of all, our brains are not capable of perceiving AI as something non-human. I give you an example. I saw a YouTube video where a guy was kicking a robot, and the robot was like, it was a metal entity with legs and arms. And I found myself that I feel bad for a
Yeah.
robot because it is being kicked. So that means that it is so deeply hardwired in our brains to, if you see an entity with legs and arms and a head, even if it's metal, you still kind of connect to it and you get emotions. Now look at AI. I could be an AI, right? Generated character. Most of us wouldn't know, and then I would speak something, I hope interesting, and you're having the conversation with me, and you get the level of emotions, and the viewers of this podcast would get some level of emotions, and then do we really care if it's a person or not? Do we really know if it's a person or not? And then we're talking about people, right? It's the most sophisticated, you know, thing, being in this universe. And now let's think about beauty. Okay, beauty is
Mm.
a very emotional,
Yeah.
process, right? We're not selling. I'm not selling a fragrance. I'm not selling a makeup product. We're selling of how the person would feel when using the fragrance. What are the emotions connected to this? How I would feel more confident. How I would feel more elevated, how I would feel more premium, and etc. and etc. So we're selling emotions here, but it's still a product, so it's, I imagine, less sophisticated than a human. So how far are we from LLM in any form? It doesn't have to be text. Maybe I will call, my personal assistant, and personal assistant will walk me through all the new scents of premium fragrances, will tell me that according to your lifestyle, maybe you need to layer these three and then produce them for me, like you said, somewhere in an AI production facility, and deliver it to my doorstep in next day, right? So it's an existential issue question, and how do we adopt? And I don't think anyone has an answer to that. It's a it's a philosophical question for now, but it's gonna become a reality very soon. And then it's a question also to the brands, right? How do I stay relevant? How do I stay loved? How do I compete versus this? Because I have heritage. How do I retain the value of this heritage? And we can. It's my category, but then if we talk, I don't know, sneakers, Nikes. In a sense, it's a geometry of a shoe, which can be replicated, right? Or Crocs, we can just 3D print any Crocs you want, right? According to your feeling today, to how you want to be perceived. So, yeah, it's a interesting existential question.
Yeah.
I think I've never said existential so often within an hour.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really very fascinating. Um, um, but tell us in the comments, what do you think, guys? And it's very interesting. Um, um, I keep on thinking about like how much time do we spend on conversion rate optimization, and how much time do we spend on all of the elements of personalization, and how it can really change once this will be available broadly through some kind of LLMs. Of course, first of all, the adoption of AI should be at a certain level, and then I keep on thinking of. I remember there was a conversation about TikTok Shop at one point where people said, "Who needs your front end anymore? Like people will shop through Instagram because Instagram just created their own cart, and then TikTok Shop created, and people will just buy right there because they still make a discovery choice." On those platforms, they discover new brands or whatever they like, new products over there. And if you add a checkout, they will kill your e-commerce. It didn't.
Yes.
Um, So I wonder if it like will kill e-commerce. Probably won't, but it will definitely change how operationally we work with structuring our offer into PLPs, PDPs, listings pages, and checkouts and things like this, right?
Yes. However, for how long? Like, what is the horizon we're speaking of?
Yeah.
Again, let's look 20 years ago. How big was ecom? In premium beauty, it was non-existing. Now it's 35% of the market in Europe. In some countries, it's already over 50%.
Hmm.
And the contribution to growth of online across any country, would it be a country where it's already 50% of the market, or some countries that are still brick first?
Yeah.
30 to 100% contribution to growth is
Hmm.
ecom.
Yeah.
So did ecom kill traditional retail? No,
Not
right?
yet.
Not yet.
Or like, yeah, probably it won't, but it's the only one growing. So that's the one that you usually see. Look at the report, and then you see that offline traffic is declining in most countries, and then online traffic is growing.
Yeah, but then look at the history. Amazon was a small niche business 30 years ago,
Hmm.
right? Now it's huge. It's over 1.3 trillion GMV globally. So it took 30 years. Now let's look at Douyin and TikTok Shop. I'm not sure when it's opened in China. I would say maybe, well, it's younger than 10 years, I would assume, right?
Mm,
Let's say
yeah.
10 years, right? If I remember correctly, it's 700 billion GMV today. Most of it is in China. That
Yeah.
is right. TikTok Shop is still under 100 billion. But TikTok Shop is what, 3 years old? How long did it take Amazon to reach 100 billion? I don't
Mm,
know. I would assume maybe 10 years ish,
yeah.
right? So the speed of this adoption is accelerating, and I would agree it doesn't kill totally, but it will become a significant part of the business, or at least this is what all the data is showing, right? And then also look at the user base. Like, most of the shoppers of TikTok for now are Gen Z.
Mm,
But then we look at, okay, what is Gen Z? It's people who are born at some years. They're now, I don't know, 20 years old, and etc. and etc. But in 20 years, those are going to be the key purchasing power in the market,
mm,
and they are already building a habit of shopping TikTok Shop. Some of them will switch, some of them will not, but that's exactly what happened with ecom, right? I remember when I was a geek buying online things, and everybody was like, "Are you crazy? Is it even real?" Well, look at you now. Now everyone is shopping online, regardless of the age. So I would say the adoption is there. It is accelerating. And would it be agentic commerce or social commerce or any other new commerce that is not, we don't know of yet? The adoption is accelerating, and the new channels is pushing out what we used to call modern trade is now not really a modern trade. It's like the old school trade, and now the
yeah.
modern trade is online, SOCOM, and the future, the agentic.
Yeah. No, of course. Yeah, and it's important to say that it can be even accelerated even more if the agentic part of it will be adopted faster on the side of the consumer. Like the consumers will create, or like there will be an easy way for consumers, because today it's 100% a geeky thing to do. Anybody who did anything with an open cloud themselves, guys and girls, breaking news, you're geeks. Like I mean, like there's literally like several, there's not a lot of people who are using it these days, but once it will be like super super easy to start using it, this might just change everything because the retailers will have to adapt to that, so it now will be like a fancy new technology that will be proposed from Salesforce or whoever, Claude or whoever. It might be the consumer will just we will see this part of I can tell you that we already see this trend. I don't know if you see it already in Google Analytics, but there is certain like bot traffic that is growing every quarter.
Well, I know there's a bot report, and
Yeah,
half of the traffic online is bots for quite some time now. But absolutely, you're right. For me, I'm the adept of consumer centricity. I don't want to. I think that retails and the retailers and the brands' job is to be where the consumer is and adopt the behaviors of the consumer. So I'm absolutely 100% sure that the adoption of all of those new commerces is going to follow the consumer. That
yeah,
is out of the question, and no retail will push this adoption. It's the consumer who is going to push the adoption. It's like the other way around. It's not the retail who's going to tell the consumer what to do. It's the consumer who is telling retail what to do. And once the adoption is there, it's there. Like on your D2C, you're going to think of, okay, is my page optimized for an agent? Am I ready to create content and put some guardrails with this new creator that is, on hype? And then a mix of those, like, is this new AI creator going to work with my product? So,
yeah.
yeah.
100%. That this is, and I think that this is a brilliant thought to wrap it up with, because it's really a new thought for me. I never thought from this angle. The agent will become the consumer. So we as retailers and brands are still working for our consumer. It's just the agent is now a condensed version of all of the knowledge about the consumer. And this new consumer will be different because we as humans, we make choices, especially in luxury, right? Like we make choices emotionally in a lot of cases, and this new consumer, the bold consumer, it will know the preferences, it will know the history, it will know what is a financially good decision right now or what might not be a good decision. And we will have to find ways to now motivate this new consumer who is a bot. I never thought about it from this angle. It's very
No,
interesting.
but I think it's even beyond that, actually.
Hmm.
Is so the bot is coming to your whatever source, this your retail environment,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And behind this bot is 100 or 1 billion of shoppers. So maybe that's the new retail media. Like, you are going to
Hmm.
say, okay, towards these kinds of shoppers, this is what I can give. To these
Yeah.
kinds of shoppers, this is what I can give. And then you bid versus other brands, retailers, whatever, on a very detailed, it's kind of like it's a marketplace, but towards the consumer. It's the reverse marketplace. Now the consumers is landing on an Amazon marketplace and is trying to figure out what they should buy and like search and everything. But maybe the future is a reverse marketplace when we as a brand would come virtually to this agentic universe and say, okay, for these kind of consumers, this is what I can propose. For
Yeah.
this, and it becomes a reverse marketplace, where we bid on shoppers and not the other way around.
Yeah, we're trying to, we bid on them, so it's like a programmatic, but then for bots. And then we're trying to convince the bots. So like there's a special segment, how do we convince this segment? That's very interesting. And I'm not sure if we're ready for this today, like if,
I don't know. I can say that this is what is keeping me up at night, and
yeah.
I cannot yet say I'm ready for it, but I'm going to prepare.
Yeah, sorry, all of our viewers and listeners, if this will now keep you up at night as a e-commerce professionals, but it's better to be prepared for this. So I'm very very excited and interested to know what your thoughts are. So please let us know in the comment section below to this video or podcast. And by the way, I will leave the link to Mikael's LinkedIn in the description to this video or podcast. So go subscribe to him. Mikael is usually posting a lot of very interesting data, a lot of statistics, so it's really you won't regret it. To go and follow him. And yeah, if you like this conversation, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Every week, I'm trying to talk to somebody who is an expert in the market and bring this expertise to you. Mikael, once again, thank you very, very much. I think that we touched upon some very deep thoughts for our industry in this conversation. It's been a pure pleasure as always.
Well, likewise. Thank you, Philip. Thank you for inviting. And yeah, talk soon.
Talk soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye.